Hello everyone, it's Valerie from Stampin' with Valerie. Today we are going to be using some of the elements from the Gilded Autumn Suite to make a beautiful fall card. We're going to be using the Autumn Punch Pack, which comes with these 3 punches, the beautiful Autumn stamp set. Now if you buy just these 2 together, it's a bundle and you can save 10%, which is fantastic. We are going to use some of the Plaid Tidings Designer Series paper. We are going to use some of the Gilded Autumn Specialty Designer Series paper. We are also going to use these North Pole dies, and the reason we're using these is because I wanted these little leaf sprigs. They're gorgeous and they look really pretty with fall cards. So I used some of those. But the first thing we're going to do to get started is start trimming our paper. So I'm going to set these aside. Now I started with a crumb cake card base, and then I cut a piece of the Plaid Tidings 6x6 paper, but I cut it down to 3.5 by 4 3/4. So what I want to do is cut a piece of Cajun Craze. Now Cajun Craze is such a fantastic, gorgeous burnt orange color, and look how pretty it looks with this piece of Plaid Tidings Designer Series paper. I think it looks fantastic, but I just want a frame around this. I don't want it to be quite this big, so we're going to cut this piece at 3 3/4, so it's just 1/4 of an inch. Did I just do that? I did it the exact same width. Oh my goodness. We are going to need 4 inches. So we'll just cut this down to 4 inches. And I don't mind cutting that whole strip because this 1/2 inch strip is always perfect to use for sentiments. So we've got 4 inches, and then this was 4 3/4. So we're going to cut this piece 5 inches. So this piece is 4 inches by 5 inches. Let me make sure I've got that right. See, I didn't have it right. That was 3.5, so this has to be 3 3/4. So I guess I must have cut my other piece at 3.5 instead of 3 3/4. My goodness, my brain needs a little bit of recharging today, I think. I'm on my 3rd video for the day, so maybe that's why I'm getting a little tired. All right, so I'm just gonna set the paper trimmer down, and we've got our layers that we're going to start with. But I want to show you with this piece of Designer Series paper, when you punch your little acorns, you can see where I've punched one out here. We're going to use a couple of acorns. Sometimes you can line it up directly from the edge of the paper. It depends on which way the acorn or the leaf is facing, but it also depends on how much space is in between, because if I try to get this acorn, I'm not going to be able to go, oh, I guess I am with that acorn, sorry. Sometimes you'll get part way up and you won't be able to go all the way. So you have to kind of trim around your paper. And because I want to get a second acorn and I don't want to cut into my whole piece of paper, I'm going to show you just a quick trick with a sticky note and that acorn, because I'm not going to be able to hold on to that going in. I'm going to cut this off. Just pretend this was a super tiny piece. But you can always push it in with that sticky note just to line it up. And then all you have to do is just peel that little piece of sticky note off the back, and then you've got the acorn or the leaf or whatever it is that you want. Now, another thing that I have done today, playing around with this, is just kind of trim, and you can see where I've done that to go around, because I want to get some of these leaves, but I want to make sure it's easier to punch. So if there's a spot where I can't quite get my punch in, I just chop a little piece off, fit it in where you want, and then you can punch your little leaves. Now I'm just going to do 1 each of these oak leaves, 1 in the Pool Party, 1 in the Cajun Craze, because I think I'm only going to use 2. but I'm just going to quickly show you how pretty these ones are when they're punched. The maple leaves as well are gorgeous. Look at how cute those are. You get them all punched and they've just got that little bit of that very vanilla border around them. They're just really pretty. So for making cards and adding little elements, these are perfect for your fall cards. So do not miss out on the Gilded Autumn Specialty Designer Series paper. You're going to want it. All right, we're done with the punches. And so let's just get started on the rest of the card. What I want to do for this background is I also want to stamp on it, just to add a little bit to it and to use a couple of the stamps from that Beautiful Autumn stamp set. Now these are the oak leaf and the maple leaf, but these are just the filler images. So you have these, but you also have outlines. Because I wanted to stamp directly onto this plaid paper, I thought the filler images would be better than trying to use just the outlines, because the outlines aren't going to show up as well on here as just this solid filler image will. So just randomly stamp around, add some little oak leaves and maple leaves in the early espresso. Just adds a little bit more to your patterned paper. Now you don't have to do as many as I'm doing. You don't have to do it at all. You can do it without. That's fine too. I just thought it looked kind of cute like this. So flip your Designer Series paper over, grab your adhesive. You can use either Stampin' Seal, you can use glue, whatever you want to use. I love the Stampin' Seal, so that's what I'm going to use for this. And I'm going to layer this onto that Cajun Craze cardstock. Once I have the two layered, then we'll go ahead and add them both to the card front. And we'll start working on our sentiment. This is one of my favorite things to do, is to, oh, I guess I'm at the end of that. We'll grab another one. Used it right up until the very, very end, so that was good. Got a little sticky piece there, get that off, and then start again. Why it's sticking right there, I'm not sure. Let's see, there's a little piece there. All right, so now, because you could do this in any direction, it doesn't really matter. I think this way looks better because most of the leaves are facing up, and that's kind of how I wanted them. Cute, love that. All right, we're gonna use the early espresso again, and I just have a scrap piece of crumb cake, and we're going to use the sentiment, "My heart is grateful for you." As you can see, it's crooked on my block. Not a big deal, because the way we're going to do this is we're just going to stamp it. Oh, and I kind of smudged it. We'll stamp it again. And then we're going to use the Everyday Label Punch. And we're just going to punch it out after we've stamped it. That is one way to ensure that your punched sentiment looks perfect, is to stamp it first and then punch it out. Now I want to use a sponge around the edge because I want to do a little bit of, oh, there's my early espresso. Want to do a little bit of a darker border around it, so I'm gonna sponge around those edges with the early espresso. I mean, we might as well just stick with what we started with, right? Keep going with that early espresso. So I don't know if you have visited the Stampin' Up! Store lately, but there are just some super cute new items on there. Or there will be soon. I'm trying to figure out what day this is going to air. Ooh, if this is past August 3rd, then, or August 4th, then yes, there are all new items. All of these items are on there. If not, you'll have to wait until August 4th. I'm so sorry I said that before I even realized what day this is going to be airing. All right, look how pretty that looks on there. You could do just your card just like this and that would be adorable, but we're gonna add a little bit of floof. We're gonna add our acorns, we're gonna add our leaves, and then, like I said, I used those North Pole dies to die cut a bunch of those leafy sprigs earlier, and I did a bunch in Early Espresso, I did Very Vanilla. I know this is Whisper White on here, but the Very Vanilla still looks pretty on there with the Cajun Craze and the Early Espresso. So we're not going to use all of these. We're just going to layer a few on here and just see how we like them to decide if we want a whole bunch of them or just one of each. So let's start with just one of each, and then we can add that little label on there. And I always like to play around and figure out which, you know, if I want them all to look the same length or look different lengths, and you know, which color I want on the left, which one I want on the right, and go from there. And I kind of feel like I need a little bit of something behind that. So maybe if we did the Cajun Craze in the back first, like we started, and then do that Early Espresso, just not quite as long of a piece, but I still want those bigger leaves. I don't want these ones are a little bit smaller on this one. And then we'll add that Very Vanilla off to the right. I think that's gonna work perfectly. So what I'm gonna do to get these all together is glue dots. Now you could use regular glue, but I wanna make sure these stick now. So I'm just gonna use glue dots to hold them together. And then I'm gonna put one on the back, at least one on the back, maybe even, probably even two, just to hold them down. And then we'll put them just a little bit above center because they're going to be underneath our label. And so they need just a little bit to be just a little bit above. So just go ahead and add some dimensionals to the back of your everyday label. I'm just gonna put one in the center and one on each end for this card. Sometimes I do 4, it just depends on how I'm laying everything out, but since I have these here, that way when I put my label on here, I can kind of slip it underneath that Very Vanilla leaf a little bit maybe. Just to, I guess it's not really under it. I thought it was turned just a little bit more, but that's all right. We're gonna leave it just like this. We're gonna add that on there, and then I wanna add a couple of these acorns. Now, because a lot of times you'll find acorns in little bunches like this with 2. That's how we're gonna put our acorns on here. We're just gonna use one glue dot for both of them. And we're just gonna kind of put them underneath the edge of that leaf a little bit. And then because they're not quite stuck as good as I really want them to be, I'm gonna take that Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to slide it underneath this acorn here and make sure that one's flat. Now this one I kind of like the way it's looking when it's kind of up like this. So a trick for that is to just take a small piece. We're just gonna cut it from the side because it's just easier. A small piece of dimensional. Doesn't have to be even, you know, a whole dimensional, even a mini dimensional would be fine. But we're gonna kind of put this on under the edge like that. And so it's only holding up that one edge. It's not holding up the entire acorn, as you can see. You can see it under there. It's only holding that one edge, and then on this side, the side is down a little bit. Now we can add a couple of these leaves in here. That would be really cute. We're just gonna do the same. Gonna add a glue dot kind of to the back of both of them. We'll do the Cajun Craze on the left since we already have Cajun Craze on the right with our other little leafy pieces. just kind of slide them in there. Now we could have done this ahead of time, but I wasn't sure how I wanted them yet. So I'm just gonna slide them in there like that. And then we have our cute little My Heart is Grateful for You card. So for the inside, I'm just gonna take a piece of Whisper White. We still have that early espresso ink here. And I'm just gonna sponge around the edges of that. Just give it a little bit of a border. Now, a lot of people do the sponging for a lot of their cards. I don't do it a lot, but I really do like to do it on my fall cards. I'm not sure why fall makes me think of this, but it really does make me think of the sponging. And so that's why I do it on these cards a lot. Just flip that over, add some Stampin' Seal to that, and then we can adhere it to the inside of the card, and our cute little autumn card will be finished, other than maybe adding a little bit of sparkle to the front. Maybe we could add a little bit of sparkle, and I just smudged ink all over the front of that. So we are not going to use this piece. We are going to use another one. Oh my goodness, this is quite the day going on here, everyone. I think I might need to be done with videos for today because obviously, like I said earlier, I am getting tired, I guess. Nothing is going in. Okay, that was not ink, that was a little bit of adhesive on there. So I've got a little piece of adhesive on there. So maybe that's what I had on the other one as well. Let's rub that and get that off from there. I know I have my little adhesive remover here somewhere. Of course, it's not where I'm going to be able to find it right away because I probably, there it is. I was going to say I might have used it and set it somewhere else. I'm trying to be better at making sure everything is where it needs to be. There we go. All right. I'm glad it wasn't ink this time. At least it was just a little bit of adhesive that was on my thumb. Get this on the inside, grab some sparkle for the front. And one of the sparklies that I have been using, as I call it a sparkly embellishment, are these Artistry Blooms sequins. And these ones right here will be perfect for this card because they are just a little bit of contrast in that pool party color. And I say contrast even though we've used some pool party in here. But that way we'll just do a few of those, get those on there. And there you have it. Isn't that adorable? I think that is a super cute little fall card. I hope you enjoyed this video today. And I appreciate you choosing me as your demonstrator. I know there are a lot of choices out there, so the fact that you have chosen me makes my heart happy and I appreciate it. So you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining. Bye.